be doing all the MCQs for the lessons of which you're gonna see now. First, let us start off with lesson 1, which is crop production and management. I know you all have experienced some trauma while studying this lesson because it is pretty hateful, I know it, but it is pretty good. So, first, let us look at the first question. Which of these is not a cereal? Maize, gram, wheat, or rice? So we have the answers in the chat. Let me repeat the question. Which of these is not a cereal? Maize, gram, wheat, and rice. The answer is rice. And it makes it hard. The answer is gram. Because gram is not a cereal. The second question. Which of these is not a kharif crop? Is it wheat, rice, maize, or groundnut? You guys can put the answers in the chat if you want. I can repeat the question if you want me to. Which of these is not a kharif crop? Is it wheat, rice, maize, or groundnut? Wheat, rice, maize, or groundnut? I'm waiting for the answers. Then the answers will be gone in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the answer is wheat. Wheat is a rabi crop and it is not a kharif crop. So it does not require a lot of water. So it is a rabi crop. And rabi crops are grown at the beginning of the winter season. So you know, right? Now, which of these nutrients is compost rich in? Organic nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So, I'm waiting for the answers. You guys can post the answers in the chat box. So, you guys can post the answers in the live chat, and I am looking here. And the answers will be over in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the time's up. So the answer is organic nutrients. So compost is rich in organic nutrients. Guys, I'll just come back in 1 minute. Alright? So I'm back. Now the fourth question, not the last. Which of these is not a fungal disease of plants or fungal disease for plants? Is it wilt, root, rust, smut, or blight of potatoes? I'll give you 15 seconds to answer this. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, the answer is wilt, because wilt is a disease that is caused by a bacterium and it's not a fungal disease. The fifth question, which of the following is not true about plugging? So, you guys can see my book and so on answer now because this is long. The fifth question. So which of the one is not this one, I'm saying. I'm pointing here, look. This one. So, it loosens the soil, it aerates the soil, it prevents soil erosion, it allows easy penetration of roots into the soil. So yeah, you can put the answers in the chat box. To put the answers in the chat box, you wanna get the level. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So the answer is, it's the option number C. Because plugging creates big lumps of soil. So these soil needs to be leveled, and this soil can also cause soil erosion. So that's why it's incorrect. Now let's move on to the next question. Alright, so let us, Please what? Please what? Bro, what do you mean? You just came in and saying bye? What do you mean by admin? Well, what is that? Okay, whatever. Compost lacks which of the following nutrients? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, or all of these? So the answer is compost lacks all of these. 7. Which of the following does not add nutrients to the soil? Crop rotation, field fallow, manures, or plugging? So the answer is plugging. Which of the following machines can be used to harvest the crop and also beat out the grain from the chaff? The answer is combine. So a combine can be used for both. Now, let us move on to the next lesson, which is your favorite lesson of course, which is light. So I'll ask you some questions. So what is the angle of incidence? So the angle of incidence is the angle that the incident ray makes with the mirror at the normal, or makes with the normal at the point of incidence. You can't say angular incident makes with the mirror, but the second option is correct. If you stand in front of a plane mirror and scratch your left cheek, your image scratches its right cheek. So it means that it is laterally inverted because of lateral inversion. Third one, the image formed by a plane mirror is virtual, erect, behind the mirror, and of the same size as the object. Next, 4. If the angle between the mirror and the incident ray is 30 degrees, then the angle of reflection is So if the angle between the mirror and the incident ray is 30 degrees, then the angle of reflection will be 30 degrees. 60 degrees, because it's on a straight line. Now, next, the image formed by a plane mirror is formed as much behind the mirror as the object is in front of the mirror, because the property is that the object is formed at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Two plane mirrors are kept at the following angles one by one, in which case is the number of the image formed the maximum. So we know that as the angle between the mirror decreases, the number of images increases. So when the angle is 30 degrees, then we notice that among the following options, which is 30, 60, 45, and 90, 30 is the smallest. So in this case, the largest number of images are formed. Now let us move on to the next part of light, which is refraction and dispersion of light. So, the first one, if medium A is optically denser than medium B, then the speed of light is higher in medium B than in medium A, because the more the optical density of a material, the slower will be the speed of light in it. Alright, so remember this. Alright, the next question. When light travels from an optically denser medium to a rarer medium, it bends away from the normal, because the speed of light increases and it is emerging from an optically denser to an optically rarer medium. So that's why its speed increases and it bends away from the normal. Now, the splitting of white light into its constituent colors is also called as dispersion. So when white light from the sun passes through a prism, then it gets spread into different colors, or the Vibgyor spectrum. Then it is also called as a spectrum. Dispersion. The next question. In what position of an object does the convex lens act as a magnifying glass? Now, between F and 2F, between F and O, beyond F, beyond 2F. So, you notice that when the object is between F and 2F, the position of the object where it acts as a magnifying lens is in the focal length of the lens. So it is between F and O. Now, the next question. Which of the following is true for a person suffering from myopia? Now, can see far off objects clearly and nearby objects appear to be blurred? Or can be corrected using a convex lens? The far point is at a finite distance or not at infinity? Or the near point is beyond 25 centimeters? So, the answer is C. We know that the far point of a normal eye is actually infinity. But however, when the person is suffering from this myopia defect, the far point of the defective eye is not at infinity and it is at a finite distance. Now, the next question. If a person is suffering from hypermetropia, then which object is she most likely to see blurred? Object 25 centimeter away, object 10 meter away, object 100 meter away, or object at infinity? So the answer is object 25 centimeters away. So this is because in hypermetropia, you can see distant objects clearly, but nearby objects appear to be blurred. So that's why when an object is at a distance of 25 centimeters, however, we know that its near point of a hypermetropic eye is beyond 25 centimeters. So 25 centimeters is a blurry distance for the hypermetropic eye unless it's corrected by a convex lens. The next question. Which of these controls the amount of light entering into the eye? It is the iris, because the iris controls the amount of light that is entering into the eye, because it has these muscles which control the size of the pupil. So, as we enter into bright light, the pupils become smaller so that it prevents the eyes from getting hit by too much light. But however, when we are in a darker room, the pupil is bigger, and so that you can get more light into it, so that you can barely make out the objects that's around you, and so that you don't dash into something. Next one. Myopia is corrected by using spectacles with a convex lens, a concave lens, a glass slabs, or prisms. So it's a concave lens, because if you look at my glasses, it is a concave lens glass, because I'm suffering from myopia. So yeah, let's move on. If you see my Now, when white light passes through a prism, it splits up into different colors. This is because we know that light passing through a prism is actually deviated by the angle of deviation. So, this deviation in white light deviates the different colors by different amounts. Now, that's the reason we see a spectrum. Now, how many dots does the Braille system use? So, if you see the Braille system, it was invented by Lewis Braille as a writing system for the blind. So, it's like those raised dots which you feel with your fingers and make out the letters. So, the Braille system, of course, is a pretty good system. And it comprises of an arrangement of 6 raised dots. So 6 is the correct answer. Now let's move on to the next lesson, which is force and pressure. moving on to the next lesson, which is force and pressure. There's one force which is exerted by all matter on other matter. Which force is this? This force is actually gravitational force. Every object exerts this gravitational force on every other object. Now, the next question. Which of these is a contact force? Friction, gravitational force, magnetic force, or electrostatic force? The answer is frictional force, because frictional force occurs when there's contact between two surfaces. Now, the third question. Which of the following is true for pressure exerted by a liquid? Pressure is exerted in all directions. So the answer is D. At the same depth, the pressure is same in all directions. So, therefore, the SI unit of pressure is kilogram per meter square, kilogram per kilometer square, B, kg per meter square. Alright guys, for a minute. Yeah, hello. Hi. Alright guys, so we're gonna have a 3-minute break. Sorry, not a 3-minute, a 10-minute break. And then again, we're gonna return back and solve more questions. Welcome back, guys, and now let's continue solving. So, hope you had a good break, and let's go on solving. Now, so the SI unit of pressure is Pascal, because Newton square and Pascal are the same thing. Two forces A and B act on an object in the opposite direction. A is bigger than B. The net force on the object is A minus B acting in the direction of A. 6. Which of these can a force acting on an object not change? Direction of motion, state of rest, and shape of mass. The answer is D, mass. 7. The weight of an object is due to gravitational force, frictional force. The answer is A, gravitational force. 8. A force of 10 Newton acts on an area of 0.1 meter square. The force is kept same, but the area is reduced to half. Which of the following is true? So 0.1 by 2, what? 0.05. Pressure reduces to half, of course. Now, let's move on to the next lesson, and which is the last lesson as well. Okay, that's all I think. Yeah, that's all for the video, guys. And I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye-bye. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Bye.